Well, I'm going to start, and I'll start with safety first. Wear an apron, because, yeah, I'm always getting resin on my clothes when I forget to put my apron on, so I need to wear an apron. Wear gloves, because the resin will get on your hands. It's quite sticky. You can get it off. I usually just use soap and water and a little hand scrubber. So, but yeah, it pays just to wear your gloves, which you can get just from Coles, from the supermarket. Wear a mask, and the reason we wear a mask is because the resin is quite highly toxic, and yeah, it's quite fuming. Although I can actually handle the smell of it. Yeah, I actually quite like the smell of it, so I don't wear a mask. And also, because I work in an open space, it pays to work in an open space anyway, for safety. Yeah, there's all different types of resins, and there's one company that says that their resin is non-toxic, which isn't true, because the only reason it's non-toxic is if you follow the safety, the procedures, safety procedures. So they are wear a mask, work in an open space. So in actual fact, because they've said that and stated it, that's what makes it non-toxic. So they were registered as non-toxic. But resin is toxic, and yes, you just have to be very careful, and it doesn't matter what resin it is. So this is what I use: crystal clear calcium resin. This is the only resin that I've ever used, and I believe I was actually drawn to using this resin. And this resin it only takes a minute or so to stir into the hardener, for the hardener to stir into the resin, whereas some that you get will take you a good 5-10 minutes to mix the hardener in with the resin. So I've always bought this one, which I get flown over from Sydney, and this container here is on sale, so I bought a couple of them. It was $40, plus the freight was $15, so that was a bargain, and plus it was on sale. They're normally around $50, so if you can get yours from Trojan, and there, I'll put that into your booklet, the website that you can get your resin from. And this is the hardener that comes with it. Whatever resin that you get, ensure that you follow the instructions that come with it. And if they don't come with instructions, make sure you contact the supplier to ask them what the mix ratio is. I've sort of worked for a while where I know what I need to, how much I need to use when I'm doing my mixes. Okay, the next thing, crystals. I actually have quite a few crystals here, and I imported mine through Alibaba. I actually got 8.5 kilos, and it ended up costing me about $10 per kilo, and my shipping was only $42. But I bartered them. So when you go through Alibaba for anything, make sure you barter with them. Make sure they're clear on how much you're paying per kilo, as well as the shipping. Yeah, because they like a barter. The shards. Okay, I get this size for the 15 centimetre by 15 centimetre pyramids, and then I get this size for everything else. So that anything large that I'm doing, I'll use the large crystals, and I wrap it in clear cord, in copper wire, And then this one I use for towers, smaller pyramids, my charge plates. So these I get from a lady in Calgary, Jamie Lee, and she's got a Facebook site, which is in the booklet. I either make my symbols or in the towers I use mainly charms that I've picked up just to sort of pretty them up. Yeah, so these I would usually use charms in, but in the charge plates or in my pyramids, I like to use my own symbols. I've sort of made it a signature thing now. Everything by my towers will always have a Trickeray power symbol in. Yeah, but for me, I like to make my own symbols. And here's a little Trickeray. Oh gosh, it is little. It's for the little charge plate. So that's your little Trickeray. And here's a Triskelion that I also make. This is an old Celtic water symbol, and the link to that shows you how to make this on YouTube is also in your workbook. I think while I'm up to this part, I'll show you how I wrap my crystals. The wire that I use is I think one more. I think it's an 18 gauge. If it's a 1 mil wire, so I buy it in the spool, and I buy it through. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the place, but that's also in your booklet. What you'll also need is these little pliers. So this is what I do. I will hold it like that, and I'm left-handed, so you do it from the other end. I just fold that over, and I just keep twisting until I get to the top. And then usually, gosh, my big fingers, fat fingers in the way. So I will just twist it right around up the top. I'm going to cut that now. Oh, my crystal fell out. Where did you go? Okay. This isn't normally how I do it. Because the crystal fell out. It's a bit messy. But still works. So basically, you get the idea. I will roll it around. So that's how I do my crystals. So the next thing, okay, so yeah, charms, colouring. So I use mica powder, and with mica powder, it sort of makes it like silvery, gives it a silvery colour, which I haven't actually got in here made up, but it's sort of like, they actually use this in slime. Comes in all colours, but the colours that I use the most are these ones. And these are also off eBay. The molds. I get my molds, some off eBay, some I get at second-hand shops, some I get at dollar stores, and these ones I got at a dollar store, and they make a really pretty rose. Very pretty rose. So I have those molds. I have my large 15 by 15 pyramid molds. I've actually used, I've probably made maybe 10, 12 large pyramids, and yeah, I always wash my inners, always wash them after every pyramid that I make, or anything that I make. I always wash my molds out with soapy water. I got these molds just the other day, and they were from the sort of dollar store. And this is what they made. So cute little teddy bears, that you could give to your kids or sew them into their bag. Place them next to their bed. And then today we're making towers. I'm going to show you how to make a tower and charge plates. So these are the ones that I made at the last workshop. This one I made a while back, which I keep. I actually use this one or keep it around me when I have to talk. So it just helps me be a lot clearer in what I'm trying to communicate. So yeah, this is the towers. Today I'm showing you how to make charge plates. And as you know, this is one of them. This is the medium-sized one. The smaller one is like the size for a cup, and then the bigger one is I'll show you when we make the Orgonite. What else do we? Okay. This is another mold. It's just got dust in, and it's a cake tin. So I use this to make a really big charge plate. Also, I was very happy with how this one turned out. Though I wish I had done another layer I wish I had done another layer. Morena Bon, how are you? So anyway, I'll carry on. So I use Morena Bon. Morena. So I use this cake tin, which I just got from home. To make a big one. And again, I use my own, I make my own symbols, which is in your workbook. The link to how to make them is in the workbook. But yeah, I think this is a good, decent size when you want to charge, quite a few things, like your oils, your crystals, your water, your plants. You can put them on top. I found this one in a second-hand shop. I haven't tried it yet, but I think it'll be better than the ones that I use now because they're thicker. And with them being a bit thicker, just like this one, I'm able to do put more metal in, put more metal into the Orgonite that I'm making. The charge plates. There's that one. Got these. I use these to mix my resin. Here's the paddles that I use. I'll just put those back up there. What else do we need? Crystals. I've already talked about the crystals. There's a gentleman here in Perth who sells iron ore. And with his iron ore, and inside his iron ore, he's also got crystal, little fine crystals. And I think he uses quartz. His name, I've also put his name into the booklet, Robert. I actually sort of questioned the colouring of it because I thought it would be black, but no, this is the black one is the concentrated one. And this one has got iron ore in it, but it's also got a mix of crystals in it, which I've not yet incorporated into any of my crystals. Next thing is, I'm lucky in that my son has a heater. I have to admit, I don't, like you would use this or a lighter as you're pouring. So the heat helps pop the bubbles that are inside the resin when you're working with the resin. This one's quite dangerous because it actually heats up too fast. And I found a couple of people that I've talked to have said that, that they'd rather use a lighter. So that's a heat gun. Okay. Metal. I use this metal, and I'm lucky I get it. I have a supplier, so it comes from my factory. Why I like this is because it's really quite fine. There are a few large bits in, but I just either cut them down or push them down when I notice that they're in the resins that I'm mixing. So that's the resin. What else do I need to show you? Some more molds that I have here. So these molds are necklaces and earring molds, which I made some key rings out of the ones when I first tried it out. So that you can actually make into a necklace, and then there's smaller ones where you can make earrings to match. Um, I probably have about, I think it's 8 of these small pyramids. And the reason I got these is because I make the chakra sets. So I like to do it all at once rather than doing one at a time. So I bought 7 of those, and they were only a couple of dollars off eBay. That mold, which is for fingers. And I made these rose quartz ones, which I haven't quite finished, out of the shapes mold that I've got there. There's those molds. And there's those molds. That's a hexagon. It's all different shapes that I've got here. I personally, don't really make much pendants because I find it's too finicky for me, too detailed and too impatient. So that's the molds. Next thing is sandpaper. You'll find that if you have shiny molds, usually when you peel off a piece that you've made, that a lot of the time, if you've got a nice shiny mold, you don't need to sand your pieces that you make. This is an amethyst one I made last night. And so that's a layer of amethyst metal, and then I did another layer of amethyst. So yeah, you'll find that you may not need to sand your pieces, but if you do need to sand them, I use probably about seven different layers of grits of sandpaper, which is also in your booklet. I use this because it's quite easy to hold, so I can actually sand the big molds, big pyramids, as well as I can control it more using this. So I'll put the sandpaper, wrap it around, and then just sand away. So usually 2 minutes per side is what you need per grit. So you start off with dry sandpaper, but I think it's 180 grit, and you go up to 400 grit and 800 grit, and then after that you change it to, I've forgotten, I'll just have a look, it's in the booklet. I'll just go through here and share the screen with you. Sorry, well, I just want to share the screen with you so I can show you what grits to use. Where are we? Here we go. Okay, so we start off with dry sandpaper, 180, 400, and 600, and then you'll swap over to wet and dry sandpaper. So that's 800. That should be 1,000, not 100, 1,200, 1,500, and 2,000. And usually, if you go through this process, you just do 2 minutes each side. But when you go through this process, it is actually so crystal clear. Anyway, back to it. So here, I have all my sandpapers in here. Lately, I've been quite lucky that I haven't needed to sand my work. Okay, and then to finish them off, polishing compound, turtle wax. It was highly recommended to use turtle wax rubbing compound first, and then polishing compound. What else do I need to tell you? I'll just make sure that I've got everything. I've mentioned everything. Okay, your silicone muffin tray, that's what I use for the towels, which you'll see in a few minutes. I will go through the steps of how I make my towels. So you'll see that in a minute. Plastic shot glass cups, aluminium, metal or copper, crystals, resin, colouring, mask, turtle rubbing compound, sandpaper, plastic spoon clear, casting resin, clear quartz shards, copper wire, charms, rubber gloves, turtle polish. So that's that. It's funny, every time I do this, the more I do this, the more it seems to go faster than So what else have I? That's basically it. I'm going to move my computer up, and then I'm going to show you my towels. Oh, okay, so, actually, before I forget, we'll go back to the screen. Okay. So, when I make my pyramids and my towels, I try to make it so that they've got a decent amount of metal in the layering. The reason I do that is because of how Orgonite works and how orgone energy is created. So Orgonite is a substance made of resin, metals and quartz, which is said to balance and harmonise bioenergy. Orgonite is based on these two principles. It is a mix of 50 resin, which is organic, and metal shavings, which is inorganic. A quartz crystal wrapped in copper wire is also added into the Orgonite mix. This is because the piezoelectric properties, which means that it gives off a charge when it's put under pressure. So when it goes into when the resin dries, it squeezes the quartz crystal. And when it squeezes the quartz crystal, that's what causes the piezoelectric properties, which is it causes frequencies. What do you call it? So what actually happens is the metal will draw in the negative energy or positive any energy that you have around you. It draws in. So it's like a magnet. And the quartz crystal, then it starts cleaning the negative energy. The clear quartz does. So it brings everything back to a healthy state, and then it goes back out into the environment again. So yeah, the metal draws it in, the crystal transmutes it into positive energy. So for me, when I make any of my pieces, I always have a clear quartz shard in the mix. And there are a few other things that I do in order to increase the energy of my orgone pieces. So one is wrapping your crystal in copper wire. I use the 1mm gauge. The next thing is I make my own triskelions, which is an ancient Celtic symbol representing water. But then, it has a lot of meanings for a lot of people. But this can also increase the energy of your organ. If it's made rightly, so when you make it, I've given the link in the workbook. When you make this, if you make it the wrong way, so if you've made it anti-clockwise, it won't work at all. But if you make it the right way, clockwise, it increases the energy of your organ. I also use the Egyptian cubit measure, which is 20.63 inches. So when I make one of these, I will cut out the 20.6 inches, and if I have to do a big charge, if I do a big charge plate, I will use that measurement. But if I'm doing a small one, I will half that measurement and then make two smaller ones. So using the Egyptian cubit measurement also increases the energy of your orgonite. What else do I do? Yeah, it's funny because I would rather make my own. Symbols. A lot of people buy these symbols, geometrical shapes, but I don't know. I just find it really satisfying to make my own. What else? Oh yeah, so there's a gentleman that I follow on YouTube, and he's been making Orgonite for the last 20 years, and he's also on the booklet. Reinhard Stenjink is his name. He has got so much information to share and so much knowledge about how organ energy, spirituality. Yeah, just an amazing guy. So I highly recommend you watch him. Okay, I'm going to get stuck in and make these towers with you. Just shove that up there. So what I've done with my is I've pre-made. Oops, sorry. Put that up there. Is I've pre-made some. Here's another teddy bear that needs to be unleashed from his thing. Okay. So what should I do first? I should do this one. Can you see that? I'll move that over here. You can see it. So I've made the three, so I've done it in the 3 steps. I always put a really thin layer of resin in anything that I'm making. And the reason that I do that is so that when I go to put something like this in, which I'll do here anyway, when you go to take it out of the mold, it's not flat against the surface, so it's not exposed, which is why I always put a thin layer in all my mold. Sort of looks even. Now my crystals are quite big, and so they're actually higher. My crystals are actually higher than the mold. So I'm just going to push that down. Okay. Yeah, which isn't very good, but I'm just going to push that down. So I try and do it so that the good side goes face down. And always the top towards the centre. So that's basically how I shape my okay, I've noticed that this turkey ray is back to front. So I'm going to turn this baby around. There. I'm just trying to straighten it. Sorry, just trying to straighten it. Oh, it's pretty crooked. So we go that way. Oh, just wanna. There we go. That's a bit better. I'll put my trickery symbol in. Must have been tired when I made these last night. And try and, oh, really? Also, I don't know if you've noticed, Mum, or anyone else that's already made some Orgonite pieces, but if you're not in the right frame of mind, usually you'll come run into a few problems like this. You'll lose your state of mind actually affects how your Orgonite session goes or your Orgonite making goes. I'm just putting a few I made this one of today's Orgonite. I've done with the purple thing, with the third eye thing. I used amethyst. I just did a little thin layer. And then now I will make the resin mix. So remember to follow the instructions of your resin that you have. Okay, I only made a little bit to do this one. We're probably going to do half. With the cold weather, you'll find that your Orgonite is going to take a little longer to set. I actually put in a bit extra because it's colder. I put in a few extra drops so that it hardens faster. With mixing your resin, you sort of, after making a few, get to know how much resin you'll need per mould that you have. Sometimes I get it right and sometimes I get it so wrong. and usually if I overdo it, I'm adding purple colouring, keeping the theme. Two drops in there. So I usually only mix until it's clear, because once it's clear, the resin is ready to go. Do that. Swipe it around some more, just a bit more. So in this stage, I sort of just basically want to just cover the crystals. So you're just covering it, and then you'll leave that layer to dry. So this next layer is already dry, that I made last night. So now it's ready for the metal shavings layer. I will use this cup. I think half would be enough. Half a cup. Usually what I do, if I'm mixing in metal resin, I will actually put my drops in, my hardener in, put my colouring in, and then put in the metal shavings, then mix. And I don't know, in my head it's because when I do it that way it mixes in quite well because of the metal shavings. So yeah. My colouring. And so I'll start off with a bit. The metal's got that nice purple tinge. Okay, I might just put a bit more. I don't know, that should be enough. Sort of thinking maybe I may have underestimated what I need to do. And do another mix, I think, but we'll see. Maybe not. Give it a good mix. If you're using metal shavings that you've gotten from a engineering company, make sure they're clean. So you wash them with soapy water, leave them in the sun to dry so they don't rust, and then cut them down quite, quite finely. Okay. So can you see here where the crystal's sticking out? When it's dry, what I would do is take it out of the mould, remix a little bit more, let me pull this out, remix a bit more resin, and then pour it into the mould and put the charge plate back into the mould upside down, just so that the crystals can be covered. As you'll see, so that one's ready, that one's done. As you'll see from this one, also the crystals were sticking out of it and still are. So how I would cover that is that I would put these on. So this one's done. You can actually see it, but it is covered. But yeah, no, I will cover this up by using the big, oh gosh, what are these things called? Those things. Okay. So this is one I did last night. So you can see the finished product. So can you see, because I went over the edges, I had to fill, what happens with this mould is once it dries, it causes a slight curve. So before I went to bed last night, I mixed some more resin and I poured cup by cup. I mixed resin and I added it slowly so that it just reached the sides, but this time around I didn't actually do that. I actually put in more than I shouldn't have. So when this happens, because it's overflowed to the edges of it, I will use my snips to cut. You know, this one will need to be sanded. So I will go around and do this, and then I'll sand the edges after I've cut away with my pliers. So yeah, cut over these edges if it goes over, and then you just lightly sand the sides. Okay, so this one has a really pretty purple colour. As you can see, the tristellium in the centre, the big chokeaway, and then 3 clear quartz crystals. So that's that one. Now the towers. I tried to do these in steps, and this one here, I'm going to just use this bit of metal I've got here before it dries out. I will put it into this next. Because I hate wasting anything, so just put that in now. Okay, so this step is, I've already done it under here, is put a thin layer of resin in. The next step is your crystals, as well as your shard, and then cover that with resin. So we'll do that now. I'll just make up. I'll just make this over. Turn that around. There we go. So I'm just going to mix up some more resin, just so I can cover those crystals in. Bit of colouring. mix. And then just cover those. So you wait for those to dry, that layer to dry. And the next layer is your metal layer. So I'm actually going to put a fair bit of metal, as I have with the other ones, into the mix. Okay, so your next mix will be metal, and then the next mix will be crystal again. So what I'll do here is I'll actually do the crystal layer as well while I'm doing the clear. Why I'm doing this now is because so that I can use the same cup. Because if I went ahead and layered that one with the metal, by the time I got back to this one, it would be all drier on the side. So I just didn't want to waste the cup. Let's do what I try and do with anything that I make, what I try and do, if I remember, is to leave a gap from the top. And the reason I do that is in case it needs what I call re-dipping again. You'll find that some of your work will have bubbles on the outside, which can be easily fixed by re-dipping your whole piece back into its mould. And what you would do there is that you would mix a bit more resin, depending on how big your mould is. You will mix the resin, you take the piece out of the mould, probably cover the bottom about 5-10 mils, cover the bottom of your mould, and then put your piece, whatever you're re-dipping, put it back into the mould. And what happens there is that the resin will go up the sides of the mould and then remold around your already made piece. Because it heats up, it just blends in, and it's like it's never had bubbles or cracks in it. It just mixes in so well. So now I'm going to do this metal layer, and because I'm going to fill that basically. Too much. Really full up. You can hear that rain coming. There's a downpour outside. Put in my metal. Oh yeah, but I forgot to tell you, with metal from engineers that you have to cut down, when you go to use it, you put that into your mould first, mix your resin and pour the resin on top of your pieces. Because they're so large, you can actually put it straight into the mould and then pour the resin in. But if you need resin, I have, if you need metal shavings, I have metal shavings here, and they're 450 grams for $8 plus postage. Okay. So this one I wanted it to be metal all the way to the top. I won't do another layer on that one. Oh, there we go. Nicely dripping it everywhere. I'm just going to wipe that off. And that's your tower. So a thin layer first. Just a thin layer first. You can see that very thin layer. Then a layer of crystals with your clear quartz wrapped in copper. Then a layer of metal and a layer of crystals. So that's that. Now these ones I did last night should be dry as well. And if they're not, oh no, that one's okay. That one's got a little horse in it, horse charm. Okay, so when you get, still a bit sticky, when you get things like that, oh, can you see it? That's what I mean by if you get bubbles in the side of your work, you can re-dip it. So what I would do is I'd put resin in the bottom. I'd put resin in the bottom, and then I would just drop this back into it. It'll probably overflow around the sides, but you can, quite easily cut off the edges if it does overflow. Leave it to dry. Excuse me. Leave it to dry, and then cut off the sides, and then just sand it. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, that one's okay. So this one's come out okay, where it's got no bubbles or in it. Oh, crystal. It's a crystal over there. So that's a little turtle tower. And I won't pull that one out because of the one that's drying. So I'll leave that there. Anyway, so that's basically what I do, Bon. Is there any questions you want to ask me? You can turn your sound on if you want.
Oh, more. I've just forgotten, but I'll message you. I'm going to go back and watch it again. I got a lot out of that.
Oh, that's good. Honestly, if there's anything else that you need to know, all you need to do is message me. I sort of, I want everyone to be able to make their Orgonite and be really comfortable with what they're making. So if anything you have, you just fire at me and I will answer them as soon as I've read you.
Oh, massive. Because I suppose that's what held me back, and sort of made me stop doing them, is that just the little flaws that I'd see them, like even you just putting a bit of resin in the base and popping it back in. It's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's all you need to do, because all it will do is just go up the sides and remold into those.
Yeah, I get you.
Perfect imperfections. This is my very first big pyramid, and you know, in making all the mistakes that I've made in this one, it taught me so much. So
mine kind of looks similar, like unpolished. It's unpolished, but it looks, it kind of looks like that.
You know what I found after doing this one? I found that when you don't mix the resin, the metal into the resin, this is what happens. It doesn't.
So I wouldn't have done that either. I would have just poured in the metals, and I would have poured the resin over it, and then I would have just stirred it around a bit so that the resin goes out to the side, goes out into the sides and everything. So,
and that's what I did on this one. What I also did is that I left it way too long between each layer, and because you've got the same resin as me, which is a fairly quick drying resin. When you go to make a piece, you basically try and make it within 12 hours. If you leave it, this is what happens. It seeps into the next layer.
Yeah, I've had that happen before too.
Yeah. So with your resin, as soon as you, 30 minutes is the max. Then you can do your next layer. You don't have to wait 24 hours. You can do it. So this one here is my long-term project, because I've been sanding her back to sheath enveloped out. So it went quite a fair way out. Wasn't straight. So I've been sanding it. But I do intend on re-dipping it. I've actually had a big one, where I was sanding it, and I dropped it, and it cracked a piece up off the top, and cracked another piece on the side, and then all I did was I looked at it and thought, oh dear. So I was like, okay, don't panic, and then I re-dipped it, and honestly, it was perfect. I haven't got it because I actually sold it, but it was so perfect. It just looked flawless. It just looked like it hadn't been dropped on its head. So
did you just get your silicone charge plate circles on eBay too?
Yeah, but you know what? I've actually gone on to eBay again and looked for cake tins. The reason is, they are really nice, and the energy is really nice, but I wanted it thicker. I wanted more metal. So when I made the pizza,
I've got a cake tin too. I got 2 of them off Kmart for $5 each.
Oh, Kmart's got them.
Kmart's got them. I actually ended up buying them online because during the lockdown, and they were $5 each. They were perfect because they're straight up and down.
Yeah. Like this one.
Yeah, those ones.
Yeah.
$5 each.
Oh shit, that's all right. Oh, excuse my English. Oh, that's good. I've been looking around for some because, when I make the medium size, like this size and the small size, my crystals are just way too fat.
Yeah.
To sit flat. But this one here, it's not too bad. That's a beautiful colour. It's a lovely colour, this one.
Oh, yeah, that's a lovely colour.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I was in Spotlight today.
Yeah.
And they've got, the muffin pans, the silicone muffin ones. They've got ones that are domes.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So if you're interested in that, they look really great. They're domes.
Oh my God. That's the, like that?
No, circle domes.
Just, okay. Roundy, like that.
They're round, but just half round. So, yeah, I thought, I might sort of pick up one of those and see what I can do with those too. But
Isn't it funny?
I'll just be patient and stick with what I've got first.
Yeah. It's really funny because every time I go, I love going second-hand shopping, and I only go to have a look to see if they've got any molds that I could use.
Yeah.
These teddy bear ones that I picked up, I thought, gosh, $2, and you get 2 big ones and 2 little ones in the package. It's like, oh, they're so pretty. No, they're cute. They're just so cute. But yeah, no, I'm always looking at molds now, and yeah, and crystals. And but I always get my shards from a lady over in Kalgoorlie, Māori chick. She's a hauraki from home, and she is quite big, and like her shop is quite, people buy a lot of crystals off her, and those shards only cost me 50 cents each, so I can get 60 for $30. And I just said to my baby, because I said, I will do what I can to find the cheapest I can. It's like even my crystals, 8 kilos for $80 is, a bargain.
Shit, that's
there was such beautiful crystals, they are really nice crystals. And the people that I get them off, I made sure that they were certified.
Yeah.
So that I knew that I was covered. And that's also in the workbook. The Alibaba, the ones that I get my crystals through is in the book.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, you're awesome. You're awesome.
So yeah, when my numero uno rule is, if you've had a bad day, or you're just not feeling right, or you've got a headache, anything, don't touch your Orgonite. Just leave it. Or give yourself a cleanse with sage. Like this morning, before I start, I always give a sage my area, and this morning I Reiki. And because if you don't have that calm, peaceful, or I suppose, or feeling that way,
I've got to be in a specific space in order to sit there and do it. And I'm always, I'm just going to another space and place.
Yeah, because if you don't, you'll find that things will start dropping, and mixes won't go right, just nothing will go right. And it's funny because the guy that I follow, it shocked me because he actually talks about it in one of his videos, and he said, because if you don't, you'll start dropping things and nothing will turn out right. You have to do this with your mind clear. And what I usually do is I usually have binaural beats playing when I do the Orgonite. Nice. My space clear and just calm. It's good because I'm tucked away in the garage here. Yeah. It's always peaceful out here. I love my little work area. But, do it so that you're relaxed.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's about it. How long did I go? How long did I babble on for?
What is the time?
An hour and 10.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
No, thank you so much, Bonnie. I'm glad you got to make this one, and I just, fingers crossed, hope that my videos come out right. I last week, when I did the video, it was saved in the wrong format, and for some reason, no program that I had would transfer it into MP4, so that's why I wanted to do this one again, so that you all get to know what everything.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's awesome. I've got another friend wanting to get into Orgonite, like she's got all the metal shavings and everything, and she's just sourcing molds at the moment, but I've put her onto your page and said, that's the lady, jump in her workshop and teach her. Yeah.
You know what, like when people ask me to make them some, I don't know, I would rather show a person than make it for them, I'm always, because I'm such a perfectionist, I just keep looking at it and looking at it and thinking, oh no, it needs this, it needs that. And yeah. So I would rather teach someone how to make it and then they can make it forever.
Well, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think, it's actually quite a cheap workshop. We've got a guy here that, in Perth, there's another guy that does workshops, and his are 150. So, yeah, I just thought, no, mine's okay. I'm all good. I'm quite happy with what I do. But anyway, yeah, so that's it. Any questions at all, everybody, whoever watches this, please do not hesitate to call me or message me. I will always be here to help you. So I hope you enjoyed that, Bonnie.
It was wonderful. Thank you, Donna. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too, sweetie. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. How do I do this?